Welcome to the Toxics Reduction via Responsible E-Waste Management video series, presented to you by the Delta Institute with funding from the USEPA Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. In this video, Susan Raszka, Environmental Affairs Specialist with ProMedica, brings us the presentation, How to Handle E-Waste in a Private Business. This content was originally created for a workshop series in Toledo and Cleveland, Ohio.
Hello, my name is Susan Raszka. I am the Environmental Affairs Specialist for ProMedica Health System in Northwest Ohio, and I'm going to be talking about how we go through the due diligence of qualifying an e-waste recycler to handle the e-waste generated by our businesses. One of the things that you need to make sure that you do when you generate e-waste is to store it properly while you're waiting for the pickup. You want to make sure that things are labeled for contents and that there is an accumulation start date. You want to make sure that things are in spill-proof packaging. E-waste can corrode or get broken. For example, fluorescent light bulbs emit hazardous materials, so you need to make sure that there is spill containment that will take care of that. There are time restrictions by the EPA on universal hazardous waste storage, and you need to make sure that you are within those depending on what quantity generator you fall into in the EPA definitions of generator status. You want to make sure that there is security in your storage area. You don't want weather elements getting in or vandalism that causes breakage or theft of your universal or hazardous waste e-waste materials. When you do transport, you want to make sure that your transporter provides manifests or bills of lading so that your load is properly documented. And you want to make sure that if you're shipping batteries, that the terminals are either taped or somehow covered so as not to create a fire hazard during transportation. Now, when you're choosing an e-waste recycler, there are several things that you really need to make sure that the business you're going to contract with has. The word certification is on here twice, I know that, but there's a reason for that. The reason being, at the very beginning, some businesses choose to go with certified recyclers right off the bat, and not even to consider others. So you want to look to see if there's certifications such as R2, EPEAT, etc. If those aren't available in your area, then you need to look at these other factors. The size of the business or the scope of the e-recycler. If they aren't big enough to handle what you have to give them, then there is going to be problems, and there is the possibility that they are then going to outsource your materials. And we've already heard that that can be a problem for businesses that don't properly recycle e-waste. You want to get references. Make sure that they've been in this business for a while, that they know what they're doing, and if possible, do a site visit. Take a look and see what kind of housekeeping, etc., that they use on their site, so you can see what kind of business that they are. You want to make sure that they have insurance. E-waste that's not properly recycled can create liabilities for the generator, and you want to make sure that you are using a business that's insured against that coming back onto you. You want to look at the regulatory history. Have they had trouble with the EPA, with DOT, or even with OSHA? That tells you what kind of business you're dealing with. Again, security. You want to make sure that your materials are going to be in a secured place and not subject to, again, weather issues, vandalism, etc., while they're in your recycler's hands. Cost is certainly always an issue when we're looking at who we want to contract with, but in my view, that should be secondary. You want to look at the location. You don't necessarily want to be transporting your waste for long stretches. Transportation is always a place where trouble can happen. And again, certifications. If you get through all these other parameters. If you get through and you're happy, or you think that you've found a good recycler, certifications can be the final determination as to who you decide you want to go with. If you're the purchasing department for a private entity, the things that you want to consider when you're buying electronic materials so that you can keep e-waste to a minimum has to do with engineering. Has the product been engineered to create as little waste as possible? Lifespan. Is this a product that's going to be looking to be discarded in the very near future, or does it have a very long lifespan that will create less waste over the use of the product? End-of-life reuse. Is there another use that the product can be put to that would prevent it from ending up in the waste stream? And that concludes what I need to say today. Thank you.